December.
Yeah, but we made it. We really did a lot of things this year. It was a very challenging year, but we were innovative and creative and enthusiastic, and we did lots of crazy things. Well, let's go back and think about all the things we did this year, just to really kind of put it in perspective.
I love that.
Okay, well, we started in January with that incredible solar panel installation. So that was a few years in the making. We were so excited to see the crew of guys that showed up from Riverside Energy Systems and brave the -30 in order to get up onto our roof and install the 34 panels. And we're just excited because it's part of our goals to become a sustainable organization, but also to save money. And we've got an amount of power being generated that supplies about 80% of our needs.
That's so cool.
Oh, I know. So I'm really happy to have had that installed, and then we launched, like as soon as that was happening, we were installing the Julie Oaks show at the same time.
I remember them all outside unloading artwork and climbing up onto our roof on ladders when it was freezing cold last January.
Yeah, it was crazy. But Julie's show was amazing.
Shishi.
That show was like a sea of blue and pink and purple. We had our first neon piece that we've ever had in the gallery.
It was my favorite artist talk of the year because it happened in person, but also it was excellent.
It was packed.
Yeah, she sang that beautiful song and showed us like her history of her own artwork. It was wonderful.
Best artist talk. Remember when we could be packed in here? So from Julie's show, we went to the 2020 show, which was an open show for the whole community.
I had never installed a show like that with you before at the art gallery when we had, I think it was 152 pieces that came, all as you said, 20 by 20 inches square. The public loved that show.
Yeah. It's always nice for artists to be able to expand and try something new and know that there's no huge sort of pressure to produce a masterpiece. And lots of kids participate, which is really, really exciting for us to see here.
Makes me think of the open show that we'll tell people about at the end of our video.
Yeah. But right near the end of the 2020 show, this thing happened, a pandemic, which was my first pandemic. I don't know about you.
I don't think I've been in a pandemic before.
So we had to make some very fast changes. We closed the show and we closed the gallery, and we were told that we should be prepared for an 8-week shutdown.
Oh yeah, I remember when we wondered how we would survive closing for 8 weeks.
But what we did though was, and now I hate this word, but I'm gonna say it, we pivoted. We shifted all of our programs to digital programs so that people had something to do at home, and we still honored some of our plans for the spring. So the next show on the docket was Resistance and Revolution. And we were so lucky to have had a workshop with the Okanagan College students making protest posters. And we had those protest posters here, which was very magical because nobody was allowed to go anywhere and do anything for those first 2 weeks. So we created digital content with the protest posters.
They're beautiful. You can find them on Facebook. There's lots of protest posters that were used this year. That happened to go up right before the Black Lives Matter movement really kicked off. And we had an actual protest during a pandemic in Salmon Arm. So if you ever need to know how to make a protest poster, Tracey's made a how-to video. You can find that on Facebook too.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's when we launched our Small City Big Ideas video series, because your great suggestion was to interview Tim Walters and Louise Wallace Richmond about the art of protest. And those Zoom videos ended up being so fantastic because we were still having conversations and still, generating ideas at this time when we were supposed to be so isolated. So that really launched a whole series for us.
Did you know that there's 73 new videos on our YouTube channel that we've put up since April?
Wow.
I know. You can find the beginnings of our videos on Facebook, and then we started posting things to YouTube. So our content that we've made over the pandemic is sort of spread between those two platforms. But you can watch Louise and Tim speaking about the art of protest. It's still totally valid content, even in December.
So all of these videos that we produced together were, important because of the time, but also great archival material. And so after Resistance and Revolution, we did a little bit of a throwback to the Flight exhibition of 2019, and we did a whole series of birds, interviewing bird experts who were part of our Bird Conversations in-person event last year.
Yeah.
That was another opportunity where we were using Zoom to create these videos and post them online so that people could enjoy and learn and kind of remember some of the crazy art things we've done in the past.
You'll want to look those up in the spring because I imagine the bird material is relevant every season. And I learned so much about birds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
you're
cool.
haunted by bird song.
They like yank.
Go away, go away.
Yeah, they're all coming out. Chickadee. We spent many months teaching children how to sing bird songs in 2019, but that's a different look back.
Also, at the same time, we were busy, Kate. Oh my gosh, we went crazy. We also launched a number of artist videos. So we did artist interviews with people like Chris Cran. Oh my, it was so nice to check in with Chris Cran. Anyway, we had a whole series with artists. Aiden Sparks was on there, Kathy Stoyton. I also got a chance to talk with Phil McIntyre Paul and with Louis Thomas. It was just so magical to have these little connections.
I know, Morella Ramsey from the Morella Project. I love that that series allowed us to tap into artists and thinkers and just people who are thinking the big ideas here in Salmon Arm. I hope we continue that one in 2021.
I think so, because people kind of dig it.
Yeah, they liked it.
It's like an artist talk, but if you can't make the artist talk, you get to check it out later. And sometimes you look at things online and you're like, I've got 6 minutes and that's it. And other times you're really ready to sit down and listen to somebody's thoughtful conversation. So I hope they do continue on.
Totally. As a side note, I love putting this content on and then just puttering around the house. I kind of use it like the radio. So you can also always just use the audio of these things if you're, don't want to stare at a screen.
Like a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Right around that same time, we got training and launched the Cultural Mapping Project.
This is with Thompson Rivers University's Research and Graduate Studies office at TRU. This is probably one of my favorite. It's hard to pick a favorite project of 2020, but one of the top projects that we've gotten ourselves into.
When we did the cultural mapping, we decided that the first issue we should tackle really is safe spaces in Salmon Arm for the LGBTQ2S+ community. So that was part of our Pride Project goals as well, and we knew as we were right in the middle of planning the first ever Pride Project, the Arts and Awareness Festival for 2020, that we knew we had to change that festival. We couldn't do in-person events, so it was around that same time we were starting to create digital content for the Pride Project and doing the cultural mapping, so it was a perfect blend of how to determine how people in the LGBTQ2S+ community move around the community, where they feel safe, where they feel comfortable, and where they feel uncomfortable, and then integrating that with our training and education with the Pride Project. It was just brilliant timing.
People got to see those maps, our first maps that we made, that they were exhibited during Pride, the exhibition. And if you go to the Salmon Arm prideproject.ca website, I've made a cultural mapping page on there so people can actually check out the maps that were created this year. They can even book a mapping session with us for 2021 because we're going to keep it going.
It's going to happen for at least 3 years, we know that, because by the time we've got to the end of our 3-year commitment to do the Pride Project Arts and Awareness Festival, we want to be able to present the actual research to the municipality, to the CSRD, to downtown associations, so that everybody can use that data to change the world. So, but before we get too far into the fall about the Pride Project, we actually had a goal to open the gallery again in August. So this 8 weeks turned into 5 months in preparation for opening in a safe way. We followed all the protocols and we changed some of our processes and policies, but we really wanted to be open with a very thoughtful exhibition. Of course, we're all about social issues here, so we wanted to address social issues that were still top of mind, and it just so happened that one of the exhibitions that were planned that had to be postponed was the Forecast. And it was fantastic. It was all about artists using photography to address climate change and to witness climate change. And I loved that show, and I saw the artwork, I knew the artwork, and I was terribly disappointed when I thought we had to cancel that exhibition. But postponing it felt okay, and I was so happy that we were able to bring the show and make it happen because the artwork was so strong. The messages were so amazing, and the artists themselves were keen and eager and really wanted to show the work. And we had an outdoor opening out on the street. People were spread all up and down Hudson Avenue. It was quite interesting. And we wore masks, and I don't know, I just felt like it was still a celebration. And we just did it in a very managed, low-key way. But it was an important milestone for us.
That was also the first show that we really got to try this hybrid delivery system of art in Salmon Arm. So we explored with documenting the artists' deliveries of their artwork, which you can find on YouTube or Instagram. We also did our first digital version of the artist talk. So I sat down and interviewed each of the artists for the show, and you can find that series, the Forecast Artist Talk series. There's a playlist for it on our YouTube channel, or you can just search in the videos and find all those beautiful artists speaking about their love of photography, their artistic process, and about climate change.
So we did the forecast, we had the Artist Talk online, that was fantastic, and we looked forward to opening Dust to Dust. But in the middle of all that was the actual Pride Project Festival. So right in the last 8 or 10 weeks before the festival, we got a couple of brand new ideas of how to create more pride in Salmon Arm in a safe way that weren't part of the original plan. And so it was madness getting ready for this festival because of like the pop-up shop, which wasn't going to be a thing until about 2 months before the festival.
It's a good idea, though.
It's a fantastic idea.
And it worked out quite well.
Oh, yes. So you connected with all of these LGBTQ makers, which was amazing.
Yeah, and their allies. It became a really neat outreach piece for us in the festival. We now know all these fantastic makers, and we've launched a web shop, so you can find it at salmonarmprideproject.ca. Some of the makers were going to continue selling their stuff. So it's a really important piece of the Pride Project, I think. And we're showing the art of jewelry, the art of coffee, the art of essential oil mist blends. There's so many neat ways that people use their creativity to show their pride here in Salmon Arm. And now people get to wear those items all around town.
And then, of course, we had the 1 week Pride exhibition, which seems crazy. You could have lived with that show for another 2 months easily. But oh my gosh, the collaborative pieces, like our felted rainbow,
and terminology wall, the Proud Grandma's quote wall,
and the Youth Voices video. Oh my gosh, so special.
Yeah, you can find that, and I think we did, was there 9 videos in total we launched for Pride? There's a whole series of them. You'll see them on our YouTube channel because they have a similar border around them, the Progress Pride flag around each video. But yeah, the Youth Voices one, it's one of the most popular ones on our channel, and for good reason. It's a must-see. All the videos are.
But the finale for the festival, the Sunday service, wow.
Reverend Jenny Carter over at First United brought down Graham Brown Miller from the coast as a guest reverend, and the whole place was filled with tears. It was a full day shoot. Marcus and Althea from Bespoke Audio helped us out with that. Thank goodness that they helped me out with the recording of that and the editing and production of that really key piece. And we really felt that a lot of reconciliation happened in that. So if you're needing a little bit of gay church, look up our Sunday service on our YouTube channel. Excellent. That show was phenomenal. It was beautiful. And it turned the gallery into our classroom. Each piece became a conversation starter, and then we could talk about all these important LGBTQ2S+ issues that are, you know, the people in Salmon Arm here are facing every day.
It's so important to understand that the youth in our community need to feel safe here. This is their home. We need to protect them.
Mm-hmm. That was a sad show to take down.
It really was. I look forward to next year, but in hindsight, we could have stretched that show out for several weeks for sure because it was so popular. We had so many people coming into gallery. We actually had to bring the velvet rope out and walk off the front door because we reached capacity a couple of times.
The velvet rope is my favorite prop of 2020.
So we never stopped running, our hair never stopped going straight back because when the Pride Project finished up and the Pride exhibition came down, we launched right into Dust to Dust. But this was the first show that you curated.
Yes, Tracey let me play in her art gallery.
It's not my art gallery. You already had shown, right from the time you were here for 2 days, that you have an incredible curatorial eye and an ability to pull pieces together of diverse media into a solid, cohesive message.
Yeah, and you realized I'm a weirdo that wants to talk to artists about things like death, dying, grief, loss, and transition. So it was such a gift to get to spend a year and a half working with these 11 artists from all around BC. There's the Sketch and Paint Club, our local arts group. 8 members from that club played with us. And then lots of people from the community have become part of this show in the memory room. It was a really important part of the show. I've loved watching people move through the show, like as visitors make their way into the gallery. We've seen people reading almost all of the artist statements all the way through, like they're really paying attention and getting into the artist's stories. And many people are sharing wonderful, wonderful personal things with us when they leave. And to me, as the manager of visitor experience here, that's a sign of, you know, a show that's touched people if they want to speak with us, or if they're too emotional to speak with us to leave. We want art to move you and change you and have an effect. So the Dust to Dust show has done that, I think.
Absolutely, and talk about being relevant.
I love it during the winter too, as the days are getting shorter and we've lost the sunlight. I think, yeah, winter's a perfect time to talk about all these subjects. We're feeling them whether we want to or not. So an art gallery should be a safe space to come into and have these kinds of thoughts and feelings and conversations.
We also held a book lunch during that time.
Destin Nora's read Leah's Gift. You can find chapter 1 on our YouTube channel, and she joined us for another round of our digital artist talks. So for Dust to Dust, we did a new format. We interviewed artists in groups on Zoom, and then I have learned new editing skills as the year has gone along. So our videos hopefully have gotten better and better, and I was able to work lots of images and videos of the actual artwork here in the gallery into their talks. So hopefully it kind of feels like you're here, or at least you can get a real sense of what the artists are speaking about as you listen and watch their 4 different artist talks on YouTube.
So as we close the year, we always look forward to a few bustling holiday-themed activities here, which of course this year we could not do, but we used our newfound digital editing skills to create a virtual Elves workshop, and that happened on December 5th.
Yeah. This was great. I was allowed to contract that out to Mrs. Christmas. So we actually didn't have to do a lot of the work in-house for that. We had all these elves tuning in from their home workshops, and I think they're fantastic episodes.
We even had our guest Frida Wales, the beautiful and incredible drag queen from Kelowna, who wanted to be an elf at this year's Elves workshop. So that was exciting to see her read a story and do a craft.
And it's a part of our card project that's continued on after the festival. So we don't just want to be a flash in the pan for Pride. We want things to keep coming up around town. So watch for Frida Wales on Family Saturdays at Home.
Mm-hmm.
There's 30 episodes of Family Saturdays at Home people can watch. So if you have littles, or you don't even have to have littles, if you just want to learn from littles, teaching you so many different creative skills, again, you can find that on our YouTube channel.
Family Saturdays continued on weekly from the moment of the pandemic.
We didn't stop.
We did not stop. You just turned it around and got these kids to write and star in and produce and direct their own videos.
They're great. Like, it's like opening a present in my inbox each week as these new pieces of content come our way. And we're going to do a season 2 next year. So if you have little people in your life, or if you're a big person that thinks like a little person and you would like to make an episode of Family Saturdays at Home, you can shoot us a message and we'll show you how.
So I'm excited for the break.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about resting and sleeping a little bit and not having to think about the next big thing that we can do to change and alter and innovate our way through this. We have done, I think, an exceptional job of creating this hybrid art experience in our community. And I think I've received feedback that we're role models for other organizations. So other people are looking to us, but that's kind of normal. The arts typically are like that. We are the creative, crazy ones that take risks and experiment. And so people are looking to us to see, okay, what's possible? What's doable? What is your capacity as an organization? What can you build into your regular day-to-day stuff that makes it easier to interact with the community? We want to still maintain the engagement, but we want everyone to be safe. And we will get through this. The pandemic will be over someday. And we don't want people to think that we just all went home and hid under our covers and waited for it to be over. It's still a priority for us to make sure our community stays connected and really thinking about all the stuff that we like to think about.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to Pekwa, which is the open show that is our first exhibition of 2021. It opens on January 30th. But Pekwa is a Shuswap word meaning to look. It was a word that was given to me by Louis Thomas as a suggestion. Oh, I like that. So the Pekwa exhibition is all about small artwork. So people can create up to 12 pieces as long as they are 6 inches in size or under. So they can be 4 by 5 or 2 by 3 or 2 by 6 or 4 by 6, but they can't be 5 by 7. If any of the numbers are more than 6, it's too big. Also, the work has to be able to hang on the wall. We are having an open floor space so that we can be at our capacity. The gallery's capacity is 16, but when we have sculptural work on the floor, it's reduced. So we'd love to be able to be up at capacity during the protocol. So everything has to be on the wall, everything has to be tiny, but all media are welcome. It can be photography, it can be fiber, it can be paintings, collage, dried flowers, it can be anything.
And any age, anyone can participate. You just have to update your membership at the Arts Centre for 2021. You can do that by emailing me, info@salmonarmartscentre.ca, or stop by the front desk when we reopen and we'll reinstate your membership or start up a new one for you.
Well, I guess we can go home and dive into the covers now. Me and Netflix and some knitting are going to get reacquainted, and I look forward to coming back and installing a new open show, because those are kind of exciting. Like, seeing all the crazy new work that people do is fun. But it is kind of a project for all of our community members and people who've never been a member of the Arts Centre before to do over the break. So if you can only manage tiny little projects like me, I can't even think big right now. I'm just so busy. Yeah, my brain's turning in all directions anyway. But if you're like that and you need just tiny little projects, this is perfect. If you need any guidance about how to mount things, we happen to have our final Family Saturdays of the year that Astrid Barnes did for us. And it talks about collage and how to use just a little piece of foam core to create this little piece of art. So it's a nice, easy way, very inexpensive way of creating work for the show.
I love miniature art. I'm quite excited for, yay. We'll see you in 2021.